Hi, so glad you can be here. I want to talk to you today about a very difficult issue, how to get kids to cooperate on chores and routines around the home. Chores and routines are a very, very important part of life. They prepare children for adult level responsibilities. And children actually like to work, they like to contribute, and life is not good if it's all play, play, play. So, chores and routines are important ways our kids can show their love and develop talents and develop work ethic and grow in a lot of ways. Being in a family carries with it a sense of love bonding and wanting to serve and help the people we love. And kids really do, as I said, really do want to work. They want to contribute. They want to show you their love for you. And so chores and routines are just a great opportunity, and they don't really have to be a lot of hassle, and they don't have to be sore points and lead to nagging and yelling and so forth. And I would like to suggest, first of all, that the family get together and discuss about chores at a family meeting. If you can sit down with your kids and discuss which chores need to be done and make these chore assignments, that would be great. Our first slide indicates that. Now we don't want this. We don't want the child who's just frustrated about chores and I'm being picked on, I hate this dumb stuff, and you let brother do, he gets away with such and such and make me do the hard chores. And chore hassles can interweave into sibling rivalry issues and so forth. So I would suggest we start with a whole basic concept of bringing chores up in a cordial, friendly way at a family meeting. So if we could have our next slide, discussing what the chores are that children could best do in the family to contribute, why it's important to contribute, and then make the chore assignments. There's been a great deal of research on should we reward for chores or not? Is there any difference in families who pay their children to do chores and as opposed to the families who simply say the chore is your responsibility to contribute to the family because you're a family member and to show your love. And no, there isn't any particular result different when you assign allowances to chores done or you don't tie in allowances and money paid for chores done. If you get too mechanical about it, however, then you're a little bit off the beam. You're not going to be as successful. So people often ask me, should I tie in allowances with chores? And I say it really doesn't matter according to the research, although my preference, in accord with the theories that I advocate in all of my writings and my books would be disinclined to tie in money with chores. I'm happier if the chore is an honest act of love by the child, received with grace and appreciation by a loving parent. I think that is your ideal. And I've developed a little shortcut here of 6 ways to make chores always go better. And I think they're very important. And would you believe I made it so they all begin with CH? So the first one is, can you divide long, complicated chores into little chunks so that it's less intimidating? The idea, go clean up your room. Well, that can be very intimidating, and you're asking for trouble. You're asking the child to say, oh, I can't, I won't, that kind of stuff. But if you say, let's go clean up your room, you have 4 different parts, do part 1 today, and part 2 tomorrow, that's on a chart or something like that, it's much more doable. And part 1 would be sweep the floor, part 2 would be clean under the beds, part 3 would be clean the window, or whatever. So if you can break down complicated chores into smaller chunks, they're easier for kids to comprehend what to do, and they feel more comfortable about accomplishing it. It doesn't take as much time to accomplish it if it's a chunk and so forth. So kids really can be intimidated by a long, complicated, multifaceted chore that seems to drag on forever. So consider breaking down complicated chores into smaller units. My second of these 6 CH guides is to not nag at them and to say who does what when, but put it all down on a chart they can read. Now, charting is, there's so many variables you can do with charting, but may I suggest these 3 key variables? One is days of the week. Put that across the top of the chart or down the side of the chart or in the grid of the chart. The next factor is people, the names of the people. So Tommy and Alice and George are the 3 kids. Then those 3 names are across the top of the chart or down the side of the chart or in the grid. And the third one is the names of the chores. And put those across the top of the chart, down the side of the chart, or in the grid. For example, a chart would have those 3 kids down the left-hand column, and across the top would be days of week, and in the grid would be the chore that child does on that day of the week. There's the 3 variables. Kids on the left side, days a week on the top, chore in the middle. Or kids on the left side, chores on the top, day of week is in the grid in the middle. Or day of week on the left, chores on the top, name of kids is in the grid. However you want to work it. And also you can have little pockets, and kids put a little piece of paper in each pocket as the chore for that pocket. And again, the pockets are organized by day of week and name of child across the top and down the side. The pockets become the little grid sections. You can go ahead and get creative on charts. You can have the kids decorate their own chart and make it as an art project and decorate it all up. May I just point out that the last thing in the world you want to do is being nagging and reminding, and worse yet, yelling and scolding about the children. You never want to get into the nag and yell kind of pattern. So charts say it all. They're quiet, they speak silently, and the child is actually being more mature by consulting a chart and learning to be guided by silent guides that organize life. And the child can even suggest improvement on her own chart. So make her own chart better. Great. That sure beats waiting around to see whether mom nags me before I have to do the chore, see if I can get out of it. So let's be wise about charts. Make them fun and have those 3 variables on them. The third CH word I came up with, the guide about chores, I call choice. Pick a chore from the blue chart and a chore from the red chart each morning. Or and which chore do you want to do? So you could actually have sort of a choice within each chore segment. The child, it's Tuesday, and on Tuesday you have chore choices number 3. And number 3 is you got 3 different, he can water the plants, or put dirty clothes in laundry, or put toys away. And he gets to choose which one he wants. So again, build in some choice to the whole thing so they don't feel bossed around, domineered, nagged at, overruled, and powerless. It's important to give children a sense of power, a sense of choice-making ability, a sense of controlling their own destiny, having hands in the steering wheel of their own life, within reason. Now, don't carry this to the ridiculous amount where you have to ask the child's permission before you do something. But you're still the leader. But if you can build some choice, some leeway in, kids feel less bossed and much more willing to do whatever it is. And they're also learning to make wiser choices in their lives, a skill they'll have to develop as they get older. Eventually, they're going to be responsible for making all their life choices. So chores are actually an opportunity for real growth experiences here, if you can build in some choice in the chores. My next CH guide is change, rotation in the chore assignments. I would generally say 3 weeks is as long as you want to have a chore chart apply. So jiggle the chart every 3 weeks at least that often. Don't let it go longer than 3 weeks without changing something. about who does what when. And so that's it. There you go. There's a change. Now channeling. So Tommy says, I can't dry the dishes because Angela hasn't taken them out of the dishwasher yet. You have a problem here. You have a gridlock in chores. Don't do that. Assign Angela to take the dishes out of the dishwasher and dry them, and Tommy is somewhere else washing something and drying it. And so they don't gridlock to each other. The chores are on separate channels, just like separate channels of your television set. They don't overlap. They don't gridlock. One child can do her chores whether or not the other child is doing his chores. And this is a common problem when you try to have both kids work in the same room or do something that is connected to somebody else's chores. So try to avoid that. Separate channels on the chores. Now, this last one, you don't find much of it mentioned in books, and but I word it as chump prevention. It's sort of a delicate issue, but if a child has severe psychiatric problems and has been subjected to child abuse or severe neglect, some violation of their being that is a very potent psychiatric kind of issue, then you don't really want to have that child be the one who picks up the dog messes from the backyard and cleans the toilet and cleans out the cat litter and so forth. It's not that we want to baby them, and life does have its grungy moments, but you're asking for trouble. You're pouring salt on an open psychiatric wound if you're giving a super grungy chore to a child who actually really does have a serious psychiatric hang-up about being disregarded, being violated, being a second-class citizen, and so forth, in the many and varied ways that can happen with kids who are subject to extraordinarily stressful, abusive situations. So it doesn't mean you're going to let every child out of doing a grungy chore. And don't let him avoid cleaning the toilet just because he doesn't like the smell of the toilet if there's no psychiatric issue underneath it. But if he short circuits any such assignment immediately into "you hate me," then knock it off. Just let someone else do that chore. Let a mental health professional deal with those self-esteem issues that the child has. Children will automatically short circuit what happens to them into their self-concept. So I am being assigned to pick up dog messes, therefore the world considers me to be no better than poop. Well, they'll do that if they have serious psychiatric issues. So we don't want to have that happen. That's why I call it chump prevention. So those are the assignment. Those are the 6 CH secrets I have. So the result you really want is smiling faces, happy hearts, and helping hands in a spirit of harmony and cooperation. Hope this is really helpful for you, and I wish you well in getting kids to cooperate better in chores. We have resources on our website that'll help on this. I have a booklet that I wrote called Helping Hands and Smiling Faces. It uses a lot of these principles, these 6 CH words, as well as many, many other concepts that are going to be helpful for you. Thank you so much for joining us. Hope you can join us again for another one of these mini webinars.